In this very section, we shall be x-raying and looking critically into the trending video of Verydarkman, the video he made about P2B, where P2B was buying granite, pricing granite and was buying them. And Verydarkman made a video which is currently generating a lot of reactions, both from his followers, Nigeria and Nigerians home and abroad. Well, I will start by saying this. My dear younger brother, Verydarkman, our people often say that n'ifonye na maro buyogbo, meaning what you don't know or what you don't know, big pass you. You can go further to translate this very wise saying into different facets of life. So many persons may call it ignorance. So many persons may call it myopicity. When you're myopic or when you have a short knowledge about a situation. There are so many ways to interpret that. And I will also go further to say this, that winning an election starts with winning trust, one voter at a time. And it is often been opined globally that no man ever does the same thing the same way over and over and expect a different beautiful result. I will come back to expatiate on all of this. When your mission as a politician is very clear, convinced, an opposition becomes a noise, but not an obstruction. And also we'll say this, oftentimes in politics, strategy will always, or most times, wins debate, but conviction wins an election. And at this juncture, I am compelled passionately to ask you, are you convinced about P2B? Or you are convinced about Alhaji Bola Ahmed Tinubu? You need to come out clean. There is nothing bad about that. You need to take a position. Because you can go further to say that when your purpose is bigger than your fear, the ballot will reflect that. And we have seen over the years, globally and even locally, that election rewards those who prepare like they are behind. But even when they are ahead, P2B is one man who is convinced about his personality, about his position in the project of One Nigeria. Is a man who speaks with confidence and walks the street freely and happily, without any fear of anything. If you ask me personally, my dear younger brother, Verydarkman, because what I owe people on this internet space is a redirection. My position is promoting good governance, rule of law, justice and fairness, and using public funds for the public good of the people. So if you ask me, I will consider your video to be a mockery to the person of P2B. I will expatiate on all of this. You've oftentimes maintained that you do not want to dive into the political hemisphere or the political happenings in Nigeria. But it is no longer making sense. If you are not interested in politics, which is the only thing that can reshape the woes and the dilemma of Nigeria, if you are not interested, stop gate-crashing the affairs of politics. Yes, stop claiming or attempting to be a referee to tell Nigerians who is campaigning well and who is not campaigning well. I will begin to judge you closely by what you claim to be your ideology in this or on this internet space. You've often debunked people who call you an activist, a fundamental human rights activist. You've often debunked that very, upload from people. You said, according to you, that you are an online police, that your job is to expose fraud, expose corruption, expose criminality and all of that. If we begin to look closely what this ideology represents or what it means, it simply tells you that your current position from that very last video you made goes against critically everything that is of value from the so-called ideology you believe in or you are working with. Why do I say so? Your words, your comparative analysis of P2B's campaign strategy and that of Alhaji Bola Ahmed Tinubu, you are simply promoting rascality, you are promoting criminality, you are promoting corruption, and you are promoting every other thing you claim that your ideology represents on this internet space. That is why I said from the beginning that no man ever does the same thing over and over the same way and expect a different result. Peter Obi has often made his stand clear that he's interested in rebuilding and building a new Nigeria. A new Nigeria where the status quo of corruption will be resetted, where the status quo will be shaken, such that subsequent leaders that comes in will stand on a purity of a more beautiful, decent, democratically instituted foundation of leadership in Nigeria. So by your last video, you're simply admonishing Peter Obi to adopt the campaign style or the campaign strategy of Alhaji Bola Ahmed Tinubu or the APC or the City Boy movement, which has been characterized over the years with criminality, corruption, high-handedness, sharing of money, voter buying, and the list continues. When you applaud such campaign strategy, when you applaud such a rascality, you are in other words telling Nigerians that this is the way to live, and it contradicts the very essence of what ideology you claim you represent on the internet space. Many of us who are convinced about Peter Obi, we are not convinced about him because he's a messiah. We are convinced about him because we understand that Nigeria is an oil-producing country, just like Saudi Arabia. But how come we are so poor that our politicians often, present an image to the larger global community that we are a poor country? But it is not true. We are not poor. The problem is rascality, scandamania, corruption, and criminality. In Saudi Arabia today, every single drop of oil is accounted for. Every ship that transports oil, every single drop of oil is being monitored from the point of exploration down to the point of refining, down to the time of leaving Saudi Arabia to the shores of other global community for dispatch and for sales. It is being monitored. They built $1 million watch room where these things are being monitored. But in Nigeria, it's a different ball game. We are not even talking about the criminality going on at the oil sector, at NNPC. We have seen the high-handedness and the squandering of public fund. Look at cases of Yahaya Bello, for example, who is on criminal fraud trial, but was allowed by the court to travel to Mecca or to Saudi Arabia for prayers. Who does that in a sane country? Check from 2015 till date how many criminal and fraud cases that has been registered with EFCC, ICPC, those that are still in the court, those that are not yet in the court, and you still believe that the rascality of the political strategy of the ruling party is the right way to go in Nigeria. You are still promoting that. It simply means that you are not convinced yet about building a beautiful Nigeria. It simply means that you do not know what it means to live in a sane, decent society. It simply means that you still do not know that political ambition or political mission without discipline is just an ambition without a direction, which we have seen over the years with APC-led administration. Yes, it's a clear case of political ambition without direction, because the same APC-led administration campaigned vigorously and corrosively, fraudulently against Goodluck Ebele Jonathan from 2012, 13, 14, and 15, and they took power. They promised Nigerians that they were going to solve insecurity. Up to today, thousands of Nigerians are being unalived on a daily basis. Boko Haram just released a video of 176 Nigerians from Kwara State that are under their captivity, even when the government of the day lied to them that it was 20